This week I went to Amsterdam to meet Paul Miller. He's a producer, and while I was on the train, I was looking at his IMDb page. A Love Song for Bobby Long, starring John Travolta and Scarlett Johansson, Academy Award nominated Lone Star, Snow Angels. He's had quite the career. So when I was able to sit down with Paul and have a conversation, the first thing I asked him about was those initial ideas. You know, producers come across a lot of scripts and a lot of ideas, so how do you know that the idea is strong enough to pursue making a film?
I think one way that filmmakers should think about it is when they have an idea is to kind of test it out, and that's where you hear in the film business, the pitching idea. It should be done on a very, very basic level just by the filmmaker. Pitch it to your girlfriend or your boyfriend or your mother or your father or your grandparents, and suddenly you're doing a little bit of market research. You get to see in pitching it what part of the story works the best. And you can also play with the pitch. You can make your hero, a young 16-year-old boy, and then you can try it out with an 80-year-old woman and see which one seems to resonate the best.
I can imagine there being a hesitance with wanting to just do the creative side alone in your room, just knock out the creative side before you start doing kind of market research. That sounds quite businessy to someone who's considers themselves to be a very expressive artist and stuff.
Well, I mean, that artist who wants to be so expressive he or she is not writing a novel for himself. He or she has entered an art form which has an audience and needs an audience. So I don't really agree with that. You save a lot of time if you're writing a screenplay that nobody's interested in. Then what's the point of that other than as an exercise? So and maybe when you pitch it, you'll have better ideas. Every idea is not great the minute it's formed. Every idea can be nuanced and shaped to make it better.
Yeah, for me personally, it is hard to share work before it's finished. Even just asking for some feedback on an unfinished edit can be quite tricky, let alone sharing the story at such an early stage. But I suppose the problem with that is, and who knows what causes it? Is it pride? Is it something like that? Probably. But by saying that, no, I need to keep working on it until it's good enough to share, you miss those opportunities to fix things early on, So let's assume that we've got an idea and we've had the courage to pitch it to a couple of friends and family. Now we're ready to pitch it to a producer or someone in the industry.
What do you think people should kind of set their sights on if they're looking to be working on a bigger project?
The first thing is they need to have passion for that subject matter and that story. And then they have to have the ability to tell it. So me thinking about an idea that requires maybe millions and millions or tens of millions of dollars for me to write and direct is not realistic. So I look for that, that passion and also that sense of realism. Those are the two key ingredients. And of course, talent. The reality check is backed up by their previous work. You have to bring something to the table. So it may not be much, and a short film is usually the best calling card for feature films. That's something they can achieve, and it really shows a director's vision.
That's really encouraging because I've made a few shorts, but nothing longer than 10 minutes. So that's nice to know that if you wanted to make a feature, you could make a concept film that's short, and that may be enough to catch someone's attention.
Yeah, I'm working with a first-time filmmaker in LA, and she has made one short when I first met her.
I do feel encouraged by that, encouraged to keep making shorts for now, to keep building a body of work, meeting cast and crew, improving my craft until I'm ready to try for that bigger project. But of course, it usually takes more than just a short film to convince someone to believe in you. We need to have good communication. And so I thought I'd ask Paul about pitching.
Although when you're pitching, you're telling the story, what you're really trying to do is getting them to talk to you. Don't do the whole pitch. They might be going, well, do you want money? Do you want me to take you to dinner? I mean, what is it you want? Are you in development stage? Are you looking for post-production money? So I tell them what you want and try and say, well, can I send you the script? Would you like to see a rough cut? So ask them, engage them. If you find yourself in your pitch going, and then, you realize you're talking about plot. Think about the character and the hook. Because we watch movies because there's characters in them. We care about the character. The plot, the plot's important, but it's not the most important thing to get our attention. And when you pitch something, you want to leave that person with the essence of the film. Because they're not going to remember all the plot anyway, but if they remember the setup, the premise, and the characters, then that's something they can hold on to. I mean, just imagine you're meeting somebody at a bar, and you go, hey, they go, what do you do? Oh, I'm a filmmaker. What are you working on? Blah. Okay, it's going to be a show. I'm working on a movie about love. Oh, what sort of love? And you don't go, oh, well, it's about a guy and he's sitting at a bus stop and he meets this girl and already the guy's like, he's gone off and giving his drink somewhere else.
That's really useful and practical advice, I think. Like, we could all get better at condensing our stories down into 1 or 2 sentences. It makes me want to do it for my old shorts, really just to hone that craft of writing a 2-sentence summary. But you know what? The truth is we could plan a really good pitch that includes a strong hook or a premise. But I don't know about you, but I don't find myself bumping into executives all the time and having that opportunity for the elevator pitch. So I wanted to ask Paul what it takes to get your foot in the door.
If you ask somebody for 100,000 euros, it's very easy to say no. But if I just say, hey, I've got my first film, I've written a screenplay, I really need some advice. Could I come see you for some advice? It's human nature, it's harder for people to go no. And also, to a certain extent, all established financiers are looking for new talent. So it's their job to speak to you. I mean, you may be a rubbish filmmaker, but they don't know that. But you also might be the next Steven Soderbergh. So it's their job actually to listen to you. And so I think maybe that's one way to, I give a filmmaker confidence. It's like, it's actually, by talking to you, they're doing their job. That's what they get paid for. I think, not everybody's going to say yes, but I would imagine, if you say, listen, I really just love to come see you. I know your time is precious. If you have 20 minutes to give me some advice, maybe be a little bit specific about what the advice is. That's helpful. If not, you can just, throw yourself at their mercy and just say, I really need help. I'm stuck. There's a good enough percentage chance of somebody out there saying, yeah, I'll help you. That's why tenacity is important.
Send out 100 emails if you have to.
Yeah, if you have to send out 100 emails, you have to send out 100 emails. Or a call, or both,
Yeah. Okay, nice. So I'm really thankful to Paul for taking the time to share his expertise. It really made me think about how the world of feature films and funding can seem so unattainable and elusive, especially when you're a freelancer or an independent filmmaker. The priority is still just making good stuff and trusting that opportunities will follow that. But this conversation really did challenge me that you can ask for things and you can put yourself out there in a more direct way. Now, of course, that doesn't guarantee you anything, but maybe that's a little bit smarter than just making the work and waiting for the opportunities to come to you. I don't know. My name's Simon Cade, this has been DSLR Guide, and I'll see you next week.